Good day, my friends. This is our latest saint, Piere Giorgio Frassati, canonized alongside Carlo Acutis. I'd like to tell you a little bit about his life, but also the two miracles that brought him to the canonization, because they are incredible. So even as a child, Frassati loved to give to others. He was so charitable. One day he had a family turn up with a small boy, and they begged for alms. Of course, he had answered the door. He had nothing to give them, but he took his own shoes off and gave to the little boy. And this was a pattern with him. He would very often give away his own clothes and his own shoes, even as an adult, as he is here. I mean, obviously he died at the age of, I think, 24. But as a young man, he could turn up to meet his father and he wouldn't be wearing any shoes. And they didn't ask where his shoes were because they knew. And he would give his coat away during the cold period and so on. He just was such a great character. The beautiful thing was, most of this charity work he kept hidden. Nobody knew until the day he died. And this is what happened at his funeral. Just hundreds and hundreds of people came to his funeral because he touched so many lives. And now to the miracles. The first one took place in 1933 to a person called Domenico Salan. They had tuberculosis, tubercular disease of the spine. They were paralyzed and close to death. A priest visited with a prayer card of Frassati, and the man asked Frassati for his intercession and was cured and lived for a further 35 years. The second miracle took place in 2017 with this man, Juan Gutierrez. He was in St. John's Seminary in California, and he was playing basketball and tore his Achilles. Juan had torn his Achilles, and he'd gone to the doctors and they told him that he needed surgery. There's no way that a torn Achilles can heal of itself. He was inspired to pray. He had a little conversation in his head, and he thought, I'll do a novena to one of the saints. And then the name Frassati came to him, and he thought, where did that come from? And so he did a novena. Then one didn't ask for healing when he prayed. His prayer was, Lord, through the intercession of blessed Piere Giorgio Frassati, I ask you to help me in my injury. Then came a second inspiration in prayer. And I promise that if anything unusual happens, I will report it to whoever I need to report it to. That part was a great surprise to him. And he said, I'm like, where did that come from? But that's what happened. And he went in and prayed this novena. And he can't remember which day the healing took place, but during the 9 days of prayer, he felt some warmth down on his ankle. And he looked down and he looked for a heat source, a fire or something. He wondered what was causing so much heat. But then he realized, and he turned to the tabernacle, and he looked at the tabernacle and began to cry. He walked out of there, took off the brace that he was wearing to stabilize his foot, and he was instantly healed. He went back because he had an appointment, because he was going to have surgery, and the doctor couldn't feel the tear. And he said, I cannot feel the tear. And Juan started to ask all these questions to the doctor. Can these things heal by themselves? No. Could there have been a mistake in the x-rays? No, it's the latest equipment. And all these questions. And then the doctor simply said, I think you've got a friend up above. God bless, my friends.